Good morning. Happy Friday Eve. As I like to tell people at times, this is Pammy Polk. I'm coming to you live from a very rainy um, day here in Memphis, Tennessee, in the U.S., but we still have joy on this morning. I am excited to be here with you for this episode, if you will, of the Virtuous Businesswoman Motivational Broadcast, and I am going to dive right in. We are going to be talking today about the one thing that everybody has, but they use differently. And I know for most people that follow me, they're like, oh man, she's going to talk about time. Nope. Today I'm going to be talking about talent. Those things that you know how to do and that you enjoy doing, but you sit on for some reason or another. And what I want to explore with you today is 7 key questions to ask yourself when it comes to using your talents and transforming them into something absolutely awesome and what that means. The first question that we have to think about is who? Very simple question. Who are you? And the way to answer that question is quite simple. I am the woman or man who blank, fill in the blank. However, watch how you fill in that blank, because the first thing that we do when somebody asks us that question and we start off that way, we start off with what we do for a living. I want to challenge you to dive deeper into that and ask yourself, what do you like? What do you not like? What are your hobbies? What are your interests? What is it that you like to do? Because many times we become so focused and so inundated on what we do with others and for other people that we forget who we are as a person within ourselves. So when you ask the question of who are you, get away from the physical things that you do and get into your head and heart space and say, okay, who am I? Second is the what question. What is it that you know how to do and, not or, and enjoy doing? I'm not asking you what you're good at. There's a difference between knowing how to do something and enjoying how to do it, enjoying doing it, and being good at. Because you can be good at doing something that you really don't enjoy doing. A talent is something that you both know how to do and enjoy doing. So, what is that thing? It may be more than one thing, but I challenge you to ask yourself what it is that you enjoy doing and that you know how to do. The reason why I have people to ask themselves this question is because, and I've said it before, many times we forget who we are and what we know how to do until there's a crisis, until something goes wrong, and something within our brain kicks off and reminds us that we know how to handle this particular situation. We know what is in us to do, so we're scrambling to get it done. And then once we've remedied the situation, we sit back and we're like, man, I forgot that I knew how to do that, and then how much I really enjoy doing it. So now you're beating yourself up and beating yourself down because for whatever reason, you're not doing it anymore. And so now you've got this renewed drive, you've got this renewed urge to continue to grow and develop that talent, and nobody can tell you anything. You are in your zone, you are in your space, and you are at your best. But it took a crisis to bring that out. Let's not make that a regular thing in 2018. Don't let crisis make you remember who you are and what you can do. The third question is when. Do you have to be careful when you display or show those talents that you have? Yes. You have to be careful because you can be the right thing at the wrong time. I know that may not make a lot of sense, but if you've ever heard the phrase, they were ahead of their time, that's kind of what that means. You can show something too early in the game and throw the game off. But on the flip side of that, you may be eager and jumping at the chance to show your talent at a time and in a way where it's not for you. It may fit, but it's not for you. So you have to be careful, because many times we'll see an opportunity, we'll jump out there, we'll show who we are, what we can do, and then we're like, man, why did I get involved in that? Because we see, and sometimes not until it's too late, that that wasn't for us. But we jumped on it just because somebody told us that it would be a good thing to do. So you have to definitely be cognizant of when you display those talents. And not only do we have to be cognizant of when we show them, we have to be just as careful as to where, which is the next question, where we share them. The phrase casting your pearls before swine carries a lot of weight, because there are times when we will use our talents, those things that we know how to do and that we enjoy doing, to be involved in something that we know we shouldn't be dealing with. That's when you are at the crux of wasting your talent. And I know that when people say that you're wasting your talents, that it can be a double-edged sword. But the way that I'm looking at it today is you are using your talents to further a cause or an agenda that you should not even be tied to. And you may have different reasons for doing it. You may feel like you owe somebody a favor. You may think that this is going to get you noticed, get you the notoriety that you need. But then when it all goes to the dogs, so does your reputation and what you're known for. So you have to be cognizant of where you display your talent. So we talked about who, what, when, where. Now the fifth question of why. You also have to check your motives in displaying your talents. Are you doing it to purposely undercut, outshadow, or draw attention away from somebody else? Or are you showing this talent because you genuinely want to help and want to serve? There is a difference. Now, I know and I understand because I am this way. When we put our talents out there, we do it to be noticed. We do it so that people will know who we are and what we can do, but still we can put ourselves out there with the wrong heart attitude. I've done it. I've been accused of it many times and have had to check myself. So when you are presented with a situation where your unique talents are warranted and you get ready to pursue that thing, step back for a second and ask yourself, okay, wait a minute. Why am I doing this? Am I doing it because I want to be a help? I want to see change. I want to inspire people. Or is it because this chick over here is involved in it and she's always the one that people call on, so I need to show what I can do too? That's the wrong heart attitude. And that actually takes us into question number 6 of how. How we show our talents speaks a lot about the type of person that we are. Are you doing it in a spirit of excellence, or are you throwing spaghetti at the wall and hoping that it sticks? If you know that what you are putting together is a holy and eternal hot mess, don't put it out there. Don't demean and devalue your talents like that. Because the talent that you have, the main crux behind it is that you are showing people, after you've gone through the thought process yourself, you are showing people that you have something rare and precious to offer. So how you show that matters. The worst thing in the world that somebody can say is, man, she's really talented, but I'm really shocked as to how they did that. I thought that it would have looked and come across a lot better than that. And it's not that they're throwing shade. That's another story for another day because it can be perceived that way. However, what they are trying to do is get you to see that you really could have done better. Because when we don't put 100% effort behind showing our talents and working in our talents, it's going to show. And while you may have people out there who liked what you did, they liked what you put out there, in your heart and in your mind, you know it wasn't your best. And you will come up with all kinds of reasons and excuses as to why it wasn't presented in a better light, but you're missing the point. The way that you do anything is the way that you do everything. And what you don't want to do is operate to a point to where people are going to think that every time they come to you and they need you to display that talent, they're going to think that you're going to do it like you did the last time. And the last time wasn't your best showing. And people will say that. They were like, yeah, you know, this is the person to do it, but I gotta warn you, they might be a little shaky, so give them a little wiggle room. You don't want people saying that about you and about the talents that you exhibit, because it's going to lead to people passing you over. You will become an afterthought simply because you're not operating in a spirit of excellence in what you're doing. And the final question number 7, is how much? How much do you display it? How much do you put it out there? As often as it's needed and as often as you are called on and have the power within you to do so. Can you use a talent too much? Yeah, you can. It may not seem that way, but you can. You can possibly use one talent way too much. And that's why it is important that you take the time to develop each and every talent that you have so that you're able to recognize other avenues and other opportunities to do more and better and greater, because what we are not to do is just to sit on that one. So I am going to let you chew on that and start to shut down this episode of the Virtuous Businesswoman Motivational Broadcast. Thank you to those who joined me online, Blog Talk Radio, those that are watching on Facebook, those that are watching on Instagram, those that are watching on Periscope. Thank you so, so much for joining me today. And I dare not end my show without thanking our sponsors, UN Moving and Storage. Thank you for everything that you do. To Nicole Gates, the woman who lovingly bullied me into having this radio show. Thank you always for your love, your care, and your support. And to our dear founder and friend, Kayla Paget, I love you, sweetheart. I'm still praying for you during this time, for you and your family. And to my listeners, I will see you again on the second Thursday in March. In the meantime, join me on Facebook at Tammy Terrell Mompreneur Coaching for Tammy Tuesdays, where we talk about the stuff that you don't want to think about, but you need to get together so that you can truly have a phenomenal year. Until then, God bless, Godspeed in all that you do, and keep charging.